Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Psychosin project. Doing an interview with Trollfest today with Scrinkles from Scrinkles Metal Asylum here on Total Metal Radio. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So how's the tour been going so far?
Tip top. It's been it's been a load of fun so far. Belgium yesterday was pretty fucking awesome. Germany, it's been good. Germany's usually fairly good for us. So, but yeah, good fun, good crowds, good food, fun people, good beer. Good beer.
The beer's got to be the important part, surely.
That's the main thing. It definitely doesn't dampen the spirit.
Now you released the album. I'm going to attempt to pronounce it, so you have apologise for getting this wrong. Captain Chaos earlier this year. How have the tracks been going?
Well, the fun thing with Captain Chaos is that we kind of toned everything down. It's more groovy, and it seems like the audience enjoy it. You know, we still have the old super blast beat songs in our set list, but yeah, groovy music always moves the people in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think I will hold it. The Captain Chaos songs are, some of them at least, are a lot easier to catch if you haven't heard any of it before. Whereas most of our old stuff is fairly chaotic at best if you don't know it beforehand, you know. Because we've been noticing like a little bit more participation from people who don't seem to be there for our sake, so to speak, or like, you know, who are just checking us out for the first time, and they're, you know, able to sing along and jump along on some of the songs from Captain Chaos. So I think, yeah, it's been fairly well received. Some of them, or in that sense, they're more suited for a live setting, I suppose.
Yeah. Was that the intention behind the songs when you were writing the album? Sort of be, no, it's sad, come out.
We're just getting old. I think that's the reason.
Old and lazy.
So where did the ideas for your songs come from? Because they're pretty varied from album to album. So, I mean, you've got obviously the song about the bee, Bumblebassin, if I pronounced that right. And then obviously you've got Captain Chaos, etc.
I don't know, from everywhere and anywhere, yeah. But usually there's large quantities of alcohol involved.
Like the entire concept behind Captain Chaos.
Yeah.
That was born on when we did the Heidenfest in 2012, after one of our shows in Leipzig in Germany, and we were standing backstage getting drunk, and all of a sudden we had the entire concept about this time-traveling idiot that was named Captain Chaos, and when we had like that idea, everything just came fairly quick.
Came into play.
Yeah, and
it's usually, like, often when you're being creative or something, like the worst thing that can happen is if someone says do whatever you like, because then you have no idea where to start. But it doesn't, as long as there's some sort of restraint, like, but it could be anything, like no shoes involved, then you've got something to work with. Or like if someone says this time it's all gonna have a purple feel, you have something, you know, to
Something tangible to work on.
Yeah, something tangible to sort of start defining and approving and disapproving of, I suppose. And but yeah, like lyrically and I think musically as well, for me at least, it's always been like inspiration will come from anywhere and anyhow. Like, I mean, sometimes you're out walking and you see something really funny, and then an idea will be born out of that. Other times it might be a TV show, sometimes it might be a musical piece for a commercial or music from a film, pictures, conversations with other people, you know, like there's, that's the funny thing about inspiration and creativity. You never know when it's going to hit you. Like I remember reading an interview with, I'm not sure, but I think it was the singer from Slipknot.
Oh, yeah.
And he said like he always had like a pen and paper in the toilet because he always had the best ideas when he was taking a shit. So like he had to have like a pen and paper next to his toilet because usually like he'd get a good idea and then do the paperwork and then oh no, I forgot it, what the fuck, and similar with who's that? Some other guy as well who had similar, but he had to have a pen and paper next to his bed because he would wake up in the middle of the night with a melody playing in his head, or like a phrase for a chorus or whatever. And same thing, like he had to write it down immediately because if he didn't, then he'd just wake up the next morning and think, oh man, I had a brilliant idea tonight, but I can't remember what it was. So, but yeah,
what he said.
You got the easy part. You guys seem to have a lot of fun in your music videos, like the recent one, where, by the way, I'm not entirely sure I need to see certain members naked. Do you come up with the ideas for the music videos yourself, or yeah? So I blame you for that image there.
It's our fault that you saw someone was naked.
How would you describe the sound of Trollfest to someone who hasn't yet heard you, the band?
Well, we have had problems putting a label on the music we're doing, but what we have right now is true Norwegian Balkan metal, which we're playing off the true Norwegian black metal thing, and
I'm sure there's many fans who aren't happy with you for that.
Exactly. But it's metal, fairly extreme, and we mix mostly Balkan influenced folk music into it, and but we move around the entire world when it comes to the folk music part. But basically it's heavy or extreme or black metal, whatever you're gonna call it, and we spice it with different kinds of world music on top. Is that an okay explanation?
Absolutely.
Do you hear a Trollfest song ringing in your head now?
Not really.
What can people expect from the Trollfest live show?
We don't even know ourselves. It all comes to
Really sweaty, hairy dudes. That's pretty much a given guarantee.
the red line.
Any show will contain sweaty, hairy dudes.
We don't know ourselves because basically before the show, when we're backstage, things start happening.
Yeah.
We do all this kind of stupid makeup stuff now, and we have helmets with laser things on them, and it's just stupid, So things just come to be right before we hit the stage.
Yeah.
So usually we don't know ourselves what's going to happen. It's like do whatever you want to.
Okay, with so many members in the band, do you find songwriting an easy or difficult process? With so many members in the band, do you find songwriting easy or difficult?
Both, actually.
Yeah.
Because we usually we like one of us will come up with an idea and then record some kind of a demo for that, and then show it to everybody else, which is the easy part. But then everyone else has a say in how it turns out. So like if someone doesn't like this bit or someone particularly loves that bit, discussions ensue, and we sort of try to iron out the best possible result. So it starts off really easy, but then it gets more and more complicated as we sort of layer more and more ideas on top of the original idea, and then have long discussions about whether or not this was an improvement or if it's taken the whole idea and made it shitty. So we'll usually when we write songs, it'll take anywhere from like a month and a half to a year and a half before from the initial idea came along until the actual finished result is everyone's happy with it. So, but then again, I mean, again, that sort of varies, you know, because sometimes someone will get a really good idea where everyone is just like, ah, perfect, we'll keep it just like that, and then, you know, yeah, thumbs up for that. Whereas other times, we've spent weeks on end just trying out different variations and different combinations, arrangements, yeah, all kinds of ideas and stuff, you know, all in the effort of trying to please ourselves as much as, or yeah, make something that we're maximum happy with, I suppose.
Excellent. Right, for the next question, I'll pass you over to Scrinkles here. Question 8.
What is the strangest thing have fans ever done to you or done for you, and do you have any tour stories?
Every time we get that question, I just black out. I can't remember shit.
Keep catching out if you back with this one.
Craziest thing? I don't know. Oh yeah, you remember the first gig we had? The guy the couple that hitchhiked from...
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had some Bulgarian fans who came to the first live show we ever did, which was in Germany. And apparently, like, they left their home a week before the concert was going on, and they were hitchhiking from Bulgaria to Germany to come to our show. And then we, sort of, we hooked up with them, and then they joined us at the hotel, you know, and we had beers and had a jolly good time. I think we kept in contact with them for a while as well.
Yeah.
But
and they hitchhiked back.
Yeah, same thing going back to Bulgaria. They hitchhiked.
That's dedication, but
yeah. But yeah, there's, I don't know, there's quite a few, like none of them are completely insane, but there are sort of a couple of borderline stories, like in Germany as well, which it isn't crazy, it's more sort of, I don't know, moving. But him and his friend were like huge Trollfest fans, and then his friend died. So he came to our last time we were there to do a show. And he'd like...
they always dressed up to our shows. They dressed up like the Bommelbasten with the bee costume. And every time we saw them, they had dressed up like a Trollfest character. And this time, I was on our last tour. I met one of the guys, and he came over and he had like a lab coat on. And I was like, "Hey dude, where's your friend?" And then he told me that he had passed away because of heart problems and stuff like that. So what he said that, like, to pay the last respect, he went over to his dead friend's mom and gave her a lab coat as well to hang up, you know, because that was supposed to be for him. So it's kind of moving, hearing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
it's particularly surprising when you think about the silliness and stupidity that goes into what we do. You wouldn't expect moving stories to ever appear with Trollfest in the sentence.
Okay. How do you think the band's sound has evolved since the first album?
Naturally, I hope. Obviously, like, there's a shitload of stuff that's been happening since the first album. The first album was recorded in his room, in his apartment, and the drummer's apartment. And
we weren't meant to be a band.
No.
It was just, you know, for shits and giggles. And apparently someone liked it and made us release more and more albums.
But yeah, the first two albums were 100% DIY projects. Like we didn't. Oh no, we recorded the drums in the studio for Willkommen. Espen?
Rehearsal room.
Rehearsal room, yeah. So completely DIY for the first two, and then first three. No, because Villan we did in på den låven, vet in the barn. For the next two we recorded the drums somewhere else, and then for the fourth one we also recorded the vocals somewhere else. And then for Brumlebassen we did, for Brumlebassen and Captain Chaos we recorded drums in studios, or first Brumlebassen in one studio, and then we kicked it up a notch for the last album and went into an even more expensive studio. But yeah, we're still doing like most of the guitars, all of the folk instruments, all of the vocals this time around as well. Percussion, yeah. Pretty much anything but the drums we've recorded in like home studios or studios that we have access to through other projects or other communities. So, but yeah, I guess the sound's just evolved as we've gotten better at what we tried to do on the first album.
Okay. What's the atmosphere like for the band when recording and rehearsing?
When recording or rehearsing?
Recording and rehearsing, what's the atmosphere like for the band?
Coming in.
The atmosphere between the band, what's it like when you're recording an album and rehearsing the tracks?
It's what we love doing, you know, music. It's what we live and breathe for. So, of course, we have fun, you know, and always, you know, meeting up with your best friends and just playing music. So there's nothing wrong with that. And
It's the best way to live.
yeah, exactly. And in the studio as well, you know, it's really fun to push ourselves, like create. Hello. Creator. No, yeah, it's like I said, it's fun. Yeah.
Now you've probably been asked this a fair few times. You did a cover of Britney Spears' "Toxic" a few years ago. How did this come about?
Again, backstage after a show,
Yeah.
we were drinking, and we started talking about doing a cover song for our 10-year anniversary album. And a lot of songs were mentioned, but we all, like, when we came up with the idea for Toxic, we were like, yeah, let's do it, because that's actually a pretty cool song. And we didn't do it just to do a Britney song, you know.
Yeah.
We liked the song, we liked the melody, and we feel it's really suitable to what we're doing. You know, it has kind of a Balkan feel and rhythm to it, while being really like heavy as well. So many people think we're doing that just for fun, but we actually love the song. Yeah.
But you made an awesome video for it as well. Where do you feel Trollfest fit into the whole folk metal scene? So obviously you're on tour with Equilibrium right now, and obviously you've got Finchol and that out there as well. So
I don't know if we fit it into the folk scene. Well,
We feel the other bands are a little bit more serious than us.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And also, I think part of the reason why we've ended up being lumped in with all the folk metal bands is because, again, like the first two albums to begin with, we were a lot more sort of straight up folk metal than what we are now. That I feel that's something that happens to every band. Like the first album defines you, and then you'll just like whatever you did on the first album, that's who you are for the rest of your life. You know, no matter what you do.
Well, Rock the Nation, they have tried to put us on different kinds of genre tours as well as me, because we're not only folk metal. It's like I said earlier about the extreme part.
Yeah.
So we did the Extreme Fest in Europe.
Yeah.
And then you're playing with, you know, the most extreme death metal bands, and yeah, we felt a bit strange about doing that as well, you know. So it's kind of hard to find like one genre that we fit into.
Yeah, you are kind of in that enviable position of you can pretty much play with any band that you feel like.
Exactly.
I'll say enviable, it's good for you.
It's good for us, and it's good for our booking agency as well, you know, because they can just put us on whatever tour they want to.
Yeah.
and we're okay with that.
Excellent. How have you been getting on with the other bands on this particular tour?
Superb. Yeah, they are cool people. Like to party like we do. So all good.
Funny people.
Funny people, yeah.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of good laughs on the tour so far.
Yeah.
And I expect there to be even more before we go home.
Yeah.
Excellent. And finally, anything you'd like to say to the fans listening out there?
Keep cool, stay in school.
Okay, Trollfest, very, very much for joining me tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Trollfest.
Thank you.